Lord Ramachandra. What happens to that person? He rows the seeds of repeated birth and death. Bharjanam bhava bijanam. So roasting the seed of repeated birth and death. Next what happens? Bharjanam bhava bijanam. Arjanam sukha sampadam. While he is living in this planet, what happens? Arjanam sukha sampadam. He accumulates wealth and peace and no disorders in life. All good qualities come into his life. So Arjanam Sukha Sampadam. Sampad means wealth, Sukha means happiness. The main quality or the main fruit of a devotee, of being a devotee, is that he is always happy. That's why Prabhupada said, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. So Arjanam Sukha Sampadam. Tarjanam Yamadutanam means, like, first when he's taking birth, while he chants the holy names of Sri Ram, he rows the seeds of repeated birth and death. That means he will not take another birth and he will go back home, back to Godhead. Second, while he's living on this planet, he is accumulating all kinds of wealth, peace, happiness, prosperity. Now after death, what will happen? After death, he will, Yamadutas will not see his face. They will run away from that devotee. Why? Because that devotee is chanting and shouting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and saying Siyavara Ramachandra ki Jai. So he's shouting the names of Sri Ram. So this is the qualities of singing the glories. Also in the Srimad Bhagavatam we see that there are two verses like this. One says, Kaler dosha nidhe rajan asti hi eko mahan guna kirtanada eva krishnasya mukta sangha param brajet. That in this Kali Yuga, people are filled with many kinds of sinful activities. This is the nature of Kali Yuga. People will indulge into all kinds of bad or sinful activities. It is the age of untruthfulness and all kinds of rubbish things. This is that age. Satya Yuga means prosperity and truthfulness. Treta Yuga, the people with pious activities reduce. In Dwapar Yuga it reduces more. In Kali Yuga it is full of unpious activities. So in this age of Kali, he says everything is bad except one thing. It is that Asti hi eko mahan guna kirtanada eva krishnasya. There is one good quality which is kirtanada eva krishnasya, singing the glories of Sri Ram or Sri Krishna. That is the glories of the age of Kali. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, taking the bhav of Srimati Radharani, extremely compassionate nature of Srimati Radharani, he came here in this age of Kali, spreading the congregational chanting of the holy names. There is a very beautiful verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita which says that Golokera Prema Dhan Harinam Sankirtan. Golokera Prem Dhan Harinam Sankirtan. So, this dhan, when we have a very precious thing and we tend to keep it in a locker, which in a very that place is very away from all the eyes of people. So you keep it in such a seclusive place that no one can see that. If you have a diamond, you will keep it in such a position in your house that nobody will see it. Similarly, this is the Prema Dhan, which is kept in seclusion in Goloka Vrindavan. That Dhan was taken out from the locker and given to the age and jivas of the Kali so that we go back to that Goloka Vrindavan, and that is Harinam Sankirtan. So by this introduction, we'll discuss the qualities of Sri Ramachandra in this time what we have, and I'll discuss the qualities with the pastimes. So let us begin. And thank you everyone for joining and participating, because Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. There are 9 pillars of bhakti, and one of the foremost pillar said by Prahlad Maharaj is Shravanam. So when you are hearing the pastimes of Sri Ram, the pastimes are going into our ears and cleansing our consciousness and removing all our dirts from our heart. It's also purifying the speaker, because when I am speaking, I'm also hearing the same pastimes, and I'm making my life successful in serving Sri Ram. So let's begin. So let's go back to Dwapar Yuga. The son of Parikshit Maharaj is named Janmejay. So after the departure of Parikshit Maharaj, Janmejay was, into samadhi. He was very grave and he could not come out of that shock of his father's departure. So in order to bring him out of that position, of that situation, Vaishampayana spoke to him. He said that there are 2 main words. He said 2 main words. One is Vanabhangam and another is Goharanam. Goodness. So Vanabhangam is the word in order to describe that Vanabhangam, Vaishampayana spoke the whole Ramayana, because Vanabhangam means to destroy a forest. So Hanumanji destroyed Ashok Vatika. So in order to elaborate that, Vaishampayana spoke the whole Ramayana. And the word Goharana is in the beginning of, in the beginning of Mahabharata, all the cows were stolen, and after that they were revived also. So in order to explain that, elaborate this, Goharana, Mahabharata was spoken to Janmejay. After that, Vaishampayana asked Janmejay that what have you learnt in this discussion? So Janmejay said that he has learned 4 things. Mainly it is known as, in one word, it's called 4 Chatur Purushartha. It's called Chatur Purushartha. So Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma is religious principles. Artha is economic development. Kama is satisfying our senses, and Moksha is liberation. But he wanted to, he then asked Vaishampayana that I am not satisfied with this. I want to hear more about a personality who has all the good qualities in him. He is the source of all good qualities. Then Vaishampayana spoke about Sri Ramachandra. And he spoke about that he is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, and spoke the first verse. Actually, in the beginning of Ramayana, Sri Valmiki Muni gave a verse where all the 6 qualities of Sri Ramachandra were given. And Vaishampayana spoke that verse to him. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead has unlimited qualities. But he is unlimited, which we can't, concoct by our, it's unconcocted, and we can't, put it in our small brains. We can't calculate also all the qualities. But Srila Rupa Goswami mercifully gave us 64 qualities of Krishna in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Similarly, Sri Valmiki Muni gave unlimited qualities of Sri Ramachandra in the Ramayana, but in the beginning of Ramayana, he gave these 6 main qualities of Sri Ramachandra. So what are those qualities? First quality is Gunavan. That he has a very beautiful character and filled with good qualities. Is good. Good means qualities. So among these qualities, the first quality is that he has all good qualities. So for example, I will support it with reference that what is a good quality which we has. That when he was being coronated as the king of Ayodhya, after all those sharyantras and everything, Kaikeyi ordered Sri Ram that you have to go to the forest. He was banished. But he never was, even in that provoking situation when, you are getting coronated. Imagine a situation that you are being, gifted or awarded as the head girl or head boy of a school, and at that moment you are said, no, you are not the head boy, another person will be the head boy now. How disgraceful it is, how shameful it is for you. How will you react at that moment? You will feel so annoyed. But Sri Ramachandra was not annoyed in this situation. He was not provoked by this situation. He was firm and convicted. That's why he said Gunavan. He's a very beautiful character, because at that time he took the blessings of Mother Kaikeyi and Dashrath Maharaj and went to the forest. So this represents that how brave-hearted and how respectful he was towards his parents. So it's a very good point you can note that nowadays, I was listening to one of the reels today. One Prabhu was telling that nowadays children are shown all kinds of animations, and when you ask them who is a superhero, they say that my superhero is Batman, Spider-Man, and all kinds of man, Nowadays Batman also has come up. So, but no one says Sri Ramachandra is their superhero. This is one of the things which annoys me the most. Also, parents do expect that the children will behave properly with them, but without giving them the principles, the main principles of life, how to behave with your parents, without showing them the practical example, without giving them examples, they expect that children will behave properly, will obey their parents, and not disobey and make them shameful by their activities. Parents expect, but it's unfortunate that they have to know themselves how to give the good teachings, appropriate teachings to one's own child. So Ramachandra has actually, by his own exemplary activities, it is said that an acharya is one who teaches by practical example, and Supreme Lord also comes and performs pastimes to teach us how to lead one's life. It's not that Sri Ramachandra has performed his pastimes in Treta Yuga, so we will keep that in Treta Yuga and we will follow our own. No. Supreme Lord comes to teach us the principles of life, so we should follow it. So therefore, these principles, that even after such a provoking situation, even when the mother of Sri Ramachandra told him that you have to go to the forest, you are banished from the kingdom, at that time also he respected his parents and went for the 14 years of exile. So this is the character of a good person. Actually, he's Supreme Lord, but he's teaching us by his own example. The second is Viryavan. Viryavan means one who fights with a very brave spirit. He doesn't have any hypocrisy in him. And Sri Ramachandra is Maryada Purushottama. He exemplars the good qualities in him. So he teaches. So he's Maryada Purushottam. Like Narasimhadev is known as Virya Purushottam because he expels Virya Rasa. Sri Ramachandra is Maryada Purushottama. Sri Krishna is Leela Purushottama. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Prema Purushottama. So Sri Ramachandra is Viryavan. So there is a very beautiful pastime I'll share. So when we all know about Bali, the elder brother of Sugriva. So Bali was very, very powerful. How powerful he was that when he was fighting with his enemy, he would actually take half of his strength or energy in him, and his strength would become double and he would lose that. And again, when he's second turn fighting with his enemy, 1/4 of his energy would lose and he would gain that energy. So in this way, he would always defeat his enemy. So this kind of powerful was Bali. Even Ravana lose in front of Bali while fighting with him. So this kind of powerful person was Bali. Actually, he was a monkey, although. So Bali abducted Sugriva's wife. He wanted to enjoy. He was indulged into sinful activities. So he could not be killed in front because he would take half of the energy of his enemy. So Ramachandra, and now it's a very beautiful story. There are lessons to learn from this story. So I'll elaborate it and tell you that first, when all the story was told by Sugriva to Sri Ramachandra, Sri Ram told that, "Oh Sugriva, I'll be behind the tree and I'll point the arrow at Bali, and when you are fighting, you first invite Bali for a fight with you. So when you are fighting with Bali, I'll point the arrow at Bali from the back of the tree and shoot him and kill him." This is the plan that Sri Ram made. So now Sugriva was like, "Prabhu, what are you saying? This is impossible. You know Bali will smash me into pieces and he will cook me and eat me only. It's impossible." So he said, "Don't worry, I am there with you." So he said, okay. So he went there and told Bali, "Hey Prabhu, please save me, Prabhu. Please come and fight with me." Now Bali was thinking, क्या हो गया इसको? कुछ स्वप्न देख रहा है. So it's kind of thing. Bali was surprised that Sugriva is inviting me for war with him. So, and Sugriva was, frightened from inside, and he was like, "Prabhu, please save me. Ramchandra, please save me." So he was frightened, but he was now, getting ready for the war because he knew that Ramachandra would kill Bali. Now he was fighting, and instead he was getting beaten up by Bali. And he was constantly looking at Ramachandra, "Prabhu, please, throw your arrow, please shoot your arrow. Now it's time, he's killing me. Ram, please." He's constantly looking at him. So to, make Prabhu understand that, "Oh Prabhu, please now kill Bali." Now, as usual, Sri Ramachandra could not understand that who is Bali and who is Sugriva. But he is Supreme Lord. Why will he not understand his own devotee? So Bali was beaten up as usual, and he was in a very, very bad condition. Now we came to Bali and now we came to Sri Ramachandra Sugriva and said, "This is not fair, Prabhu. What did you do? I can't understand that you told you will kill Bali and this is what you were doing. I got beaten up." And then Sri Ram said, "Actually, I was pointing that and I was going to kill Bali, but you never told me that you both look the same. So you are twin brothers. I could not understand who is Bali and who is Sugriva. Now instead, when if I would kill Bali and instead the arrow would go and hit you, that would be a very bad condition. So I thought that it's better not to kill now." So he said, "But I have another plan." He said, "No, Baba, please, Prabhu, now nothing." Said, "Okay, listen to me. Now you invite him for fighting and I'll give you a garland, and now I will be able to recognize that who is Bali and who is Sugriva, so that I can point the arrow at Bali and I can kill him." So now he went and again invited to Bali for the fight. Now the garland was offered to him by Lakshmana to Sugriva. Now Lakshmana garlanded Sugriva. So after that, they had a very... Actually, Sugriva was acting, and now Sri Ram could recognize and killed Bali, pointed and killed Bali. So after that, Bali was so strong that he, took the arrow and saw, like, when the arrow hit him, he was hurt, of course, and he was half dead. But at that time also, because of his strength, he could, take out the arrow and see that it was written Dashrath Nandan Ram. So, and blood smeared over it. So he said, I want, the whole life I wanted to meet this personality, Sri Ram. And today Prabhu is standing me and killing me. It's my great fortune that before I give up my body, Sri Ram is standing in front of me. But in humility, Bali went in front of Sri Ram and asked him that it's my greatest fortune that I am being killed by your lotus hands, but can you please tell me that why did you do so? Sri Ram explained that first of all, you are not a good citizen because you are going and taking everyone's wife and exploiting them. So as the representative of the king, it's my duty to punish you. Now Bali said, Prabhu, but I am not a citizen, I am a monkey. So Sri Ramachandra said that if you are a monkey, then I am a hunter, and hunter doesn't see, and hunter always kills his prey from the back of the tree. So he said, yes Prabhu, I agree, and it's my greatest fortune that I am dying in front of you and when you are present in front of my eyes. But at that time, Sri Ramachandra promised that this will come back to him. It's not that karma works on the Supreme Lord because he is out of all material nature, but to prove that he is Maryada Purushottama Ramchandra, he is Viryavan. Therefore, that Bali came as the hunter in next life and Sri Ramachandra was Krishna in next life. So, how did Krishna disappear? Krishna disappeared because the hunter shooted that arrow from the back of the tree, thinking that it was a deer who was drinking water, because Krishna's lotus feet was placed in such a way. So this is the proof that how Viryavan is Sri Ramachandra. So after Bali was killed, Sugriva was thanking Sri Ramachandra, but he said, Prabhu, you can, tell anything to anyone, but I don't believe that you didn't recognize between me and Bali. You recognized, of course. Sri Ramachandra said, yes, I recognize. But this is an important lesson I wanted to teach everyone, that without the blessings of Gurudev, no one can obtain the mercy of the Supreme Lord. When I and Lakshmana came here, you gave me a place to sit, but you made Lakshmana stand there. Therefore, you made a Guru Aparadh. Now, when Guru accepts you by giving that garland of mercy to you, when Guru accepts you, that time I became merciful and blessed you. Till the time Guru didn't accept you, you had to face the consequences of Guru Aparadh. So this is a very, very important lesson that Sri Ram taught us in this pastime, that the importance of Guru Tattva. So we got to know about the quality, we got to know about Gunavan, Viryavan, and also the importance of Guru Tattva and Gurudev, that without the mercy, yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya aprasada na gati kutopi, means without the mercy of Gurudev, no one can obtain Krishna's mercy or gain Krishna's mercy. The third quality is Dharma Jnana. He was the knower. See, all the source of all the Vedas is from the Supreme Lord. Krishna says, Vedeshcha sarvai ahameva vedyo. I am the knower of all the Vedas and all the Vedas come from me. I am the source of all Vedas. So of course you will know Dharma. So how do we know? See this, there are so many examples, but one such example is in the Swayamvar when Sri Ramachandra went there, Vishwamitra Muni said and instructed Ramachandra, Vatsa Rama Dhanur Pashya. Means, O Vatsa Ram, go and just see the bow. Take darshan of the Shiv bow. But understanding the intention behind the instruction of Gurudev said only to see the bow. Didn't tell to lift up and break it and nothing. He didn't say all these, Vishwamitra Muni. But understanding the intention behind that instruction, Sri Ram not only lifted that bow, but also broke that bow and won Mother Sita. So this was an ideal example of an ideal disciple. He was the ideal disciple in all ways. While Vishwamitra Muni showed all the skeletons of the sages and told that these are the sages killed by the Rakshasas, that time Sri Ramachandra took water, pure water, sanctified water, and did Achaman and promised that till the time I don't kill all the Rakshasas, I will not take a deep breath, or I'll not sit peacefully. I'll kill all the Rakshasas and protect all the sages. That was his determination. So this is Dharma Jnana, that he's the knower of all the Dharma. He's Kritagnya. Now the fourth quality is that he's Kritagnya. Means he's very, very grateful. How he is grateful? Example, see, Ramayana is filled with examples of Sri Ram's qualities. I am only narrating an example of that quality. So while building the Rama Setu, Sri Ramachandra, Hanumanji was carrying big blocks and placing on the ocean, and there was squirrels who were carrying small pieces of stone of and placing. So Hanumanji was laughing on the squirrel that you are carrying, to make a Ram Setu, you need big blocks, and you are carrying so small pebbles. But Sri Ramachandra was so grateful to that squirrel that he said to Hanumanji that, oh Hanuman, you are carrying big blocks and that squirrel is carrying small pebbles. But you are serving me in the best way, whatever you can do. You are doing with your best, and that squirrel is serving me with his best. So both are precious and valuable to me. This big block and this small pebble. So this is the Kritagya Bhav of Sri Ramachandra. Even the Kritagya Bhav shows in this thing that he's the supreme personality of Godhead, but still he's taking shelter of monkeys to win over his wife Sita Devi. So how much grateful he is to this animal kingdom. Animal kingdom is said that it's lower than the human kingdom or the human species, but he's taking help of this monkey species to get back his own consort. So this much grateful he is to his devotees, and especially whatever service any of his devotees perform to him or give him. So this is his fourth quality. What is the fifth quality? Fifth quality is Satyavakyo. One quality we all know, Ekapatni Vrata, that he never Satyavakyo means determined. He was always determined with his instructions and vows that he take in his life. So one was Ekapatni Vrata, that at the time of Ashwamedh Yajna, the sages instructed him to marry another person as Mother Sita was being banished. But he didn't marry anyone. Instead, he kept a beautiful golden structure of Mother Sita beside him while performing Ashwamedh Yajna. This was his firm conviction, firm determination on his vows that he took. Also, another example we see that when it's a pastime with Kevat, that when Sri Ram requested Kevat to Kevat told Kevat that please can you take me across the Sarayu river. So Kevat said that that's a very beautiful pastime, also a very beautiful thing that Kevat said that, Prabhu, I can take you, but there is a problem. What is the problem? He said that I have a daughter and my wife has said that until and unless you get a good husband for my daughter, I'll not let you enter the house. So I am already in problem with one daughter. Now, by the touch of your lotus feet, Mother Ahalya, a stone became into a very beautiful lady. Now, if you step on my boat, and by the touch of your lotus feet, if that boat becomes a very beautiful woman, so what will happen now? I will again face into more trouble, because I already have one daughter in trouble, and now another daughter again trouble, and my wife will give me divorce and will not let me enter the house. So now Sri Ram was in confusion what to do. So he said, Prabhu, there is a solution. If you let me wash your lotus feet, and I'll remove all the small particles from your lotus feet, I'll be in conviction that by the touch of your lotus feet, my boat will not become into a beautiful lady. First, Sri Ram smiled and told Kevat, okay. So after that pastime, when Kevat was taking Sri Ramachandra across the river, in the middle of the river, he stood and he was, taking round and round with the same boat with Mother Sita, Ramachandra and Lakshmana. And now Lakshmana said that, why are you doing like this? We have to go across the river. Why are you whirling us with your boat? So he didn't answer. But when Sri Ramachandra asked that, Kevat, why are you doing so? That time he answered, oh Lord, you take us to 84 lakh species, and it's a repeated cycle of birth and death going on and on and on. And now by only I am giving you a round with, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds in this boat, and you are saying that what I am doing. So in the 84 lakh species, when we roam around, that time your heart doesn't melt at what happens to us. So that time Sri Ram's heart melted, and he took a vow by doing Achaman, that at the time of death, if a devotee or someone remembers me, he'll come back to me, back to Godhead. So he kept that vow, and also he instructed the same in the Bhagavad Gita in Dwapar Yuga. Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam yate nastyatra samshaya. That at the time of death, if anyone remembers me, O Arjuna, he'll come back to me. And there is no doubt about it. So always, at every time, Sri Ram was determined on his vows, even in the form of Sri Krishna. So he never was away and, fluctuated his vows. And the sixth quality is Dhridavrata. Means Dhridavrata means the vows. Actually, Dhridavrata is also mean one kind of determination. So at the time of Vibhishan's coronation, Sri Ramachandra said that, O Vibhishan, if anyone comes to me and says that, O Lord, I am yours, I promise you, Vibhishan, that I take all his responsibilities on my head. His all kinds of responsibilities mine. I carry his weight. His weight means all his duties I carry, which is what is that? What is that verse? Yoga Kshemam Bahamiham. That's that line, that I carry the weight of my devotee, of the responsibilities of my devotee. So that is also Dhridavrata. Still now, even as I said, in the sixth quality, the same thing was repeated in Bhagavad Gita. So Sri Ram is always determined on his vows and on his vratas. So these are the qualities of Sri Ram, and few pastimes related to it, because there are you have to understand that Shukadev Goswami, in the interest of time, 18,000 verses was spoken for all the avatars, more than Dashavatars actually. But Valmiki Muni spoke 24,000 verses only for Sri Ram. So this is the greatness of Sri Ram, this is the depth of Sri Ram, that his qualities, his pastimes, his narrations is unlimited, unflinching, with unflinching devotion and affection for his devotees. It's heart-wrenching, enlightening to the ears, entertaining to the ears, enlightening to the heart, enriching to the mind. So, unbelievable pastimes. But these were some examples. So these were qualities of Sri Ramachandra. And now I want to go to the second part of this discourse about Sri Ramachandra's extreme affection towards his devotees. So this is the second part. Of course, there are so many beautiful pastimes. So first, I would like to say about when Sri Ramachandra was walking in the forest after Bharata took the Padukas with him. Sri Ramachandra's lotus feet was pierced with thorns, so he couldn't. And every day new thorns were pierced, and Sri Ram could not remove one of those thorns. None of those thorns actually. And Lakshmana would try to go and remove them, but he wouldn't let. Sri Ram wouldn't let Lakshmana remove those thorns. And every day new thorns would pierce, and Sri Ramachandra's lotus feet would bleed. So Lakshmana was very, very upset, and his heart was actually hurting so much that Sri Ramachandra's lotus feet is bleeding and he couldn't do anything. So he requested Mother Sita to please request Ramachandra to remove those thorns. So at night when Mother Sita went to remove those thorns, Sri Rama said, Sita, please don't remove those. And Mother Sita was telling, we get hurt when we see your lotus feet is bleeding, your soft lotus feet, tender lotus feet. He said, what to do, Sita? He closed his eyes and he said, what to do, Sita? I've taken a vow that whoever takes shelter of my lotus feet, I don't leave their hands, even if they are thorns. This is the greatest example of the affection he has for his devotees, because this is uncomparable affection towards his devotee. Lord, Supreme Lord is bleeding, but in pain, new thorns piercing his lotus feet, but still he is telling that even if they are thorns, they took shelter of my lotus feet, I'll not leave them. And a very, very beautiful and dear a pastime dear to my heart is when Vibhishan came to Sri Ramachandra to take shelter of Ramachandra in Lanka. That time, all the monkeys doubted Vibhishan a lot. He so much doubt that they told Sri Ramachandra that there can't be a mango fruit in a neem tree. So in the family of Ravana, Shurpanakha and Kumbhakarna, there can't be a fruit called devotee called Vibhishan in that family. It can't happen. So Sri Ramachandra said, you all please calm down, and asked Hanumanji to tell, oh Hanuman, what's your thought on Vibhishan? Hanumanji said that, oh Lord, he doesn't possess any qualities of a demon. Instead, when I went to Lanka, I saw he was the one who was worshipping Sri Vishnu, and he's a very pious man, he's a very purified man. Please accept him, O Lord. He's not a hypocrite or a demon. So, at that time, Sri Ramachandra announced, actually when Vibhishan came and took shelter of Sri Ram announced, from today I announce you as the king of Lanka. And the monkeys were surprised, flummoxed, that first of all, we were not agreeing that you can't accept this Vibhishan. Now, after accepting, you coronated him as the king of Lanka. Now, the king of Lanka is Ravana. What will happen to him? Sri Ramachandra said, if Ravana comes and takes shelter of my lotus feet, I'll make him the king of Ayodhya. Now the monkeys were surprised that you told that Bharat will become the king of Ayodhya. So that now Ramachandra said, if Bharat comes to me and takes shelter of my lotus feet, I'll make Bharat the king of Vaikuntha. Now they were started scratching your head, but Prabhu, you are the king of Vaikuntha. Now Ramachandra smiled and said, when this Ram has nowhere to go, I'm very happy ruling the kingdom of Hanuman's heart. This is the greatness and affection that Sri Ram has for his devotees. This pastime is so dear to me that how great will be Hanumanji that Sri Ramachandra is telling, when this Ramachandra has nowhere to go, no kingdom to live, I'll go and rule Hanuman's heart. This is the greatness of Hanumanji. So, after hearing all these beautiful pastimes of Sri Ram, let's come and be little philosophical and know the meaning that who is Ramachandra. Ramante yogino nante satyananda chidatmani iti Rama padena so parabrahma videyate. Who is Ram? What is the meaning of Ram? Ram means that Ramante yogino nante. The yogis, those who meditate from millions and millions of years. Those yogis whose senses are locked. Now, the Shastra is a very beautiful and excellent way of presenting a philosophical point, and so intelligent way of presenting it that they never said normal devotees, they said yogis. Why yogis? Because yogis, their senses are locked. They don't get attracted by an ice cream as we get attracted by Netflix, ice cream, all kinds of material things, but they don't get attracted by the dance and by the sound of the anklets of Urvashi, Menaka, Rambha. They don't get attracted by that. They don't get attracted by foodstuffs in the material world. To those whose senses are locked from all sides, senses don't open from anywhere. The personality who attracts those yogis is the all-attractive Sri Ram. Ram means those who attract the yogis whose senses are locked. Those who don't get attracted by these material things. To those yogis get attracted to Sri Ramachandra. Ramante yogino nante satyananda chidatmani iti Rama padena sau parabrahma vidhiyate. So when he was in the Dandakaranya forest, 16,000 yogis were meditating, and when they saw the beautiful form of Sri Ram, they wanted to they went and asked that, please, O Ramachandra, please make us girls and ladies so that we can marry you. We want you as our husband. But as Sri Ramachandra took the Eka Patni Vrata, he could not marry them, but he had this desire in his heart. And in the next life, those 16,000 rishis, munis, came as the 16,000 gopis. So, one more lesson to learn here, that half knowledge is dangerous. Why? Because people misunderstand the gopis and everyone, because they know half of the story, but they don't know the full story. So, to prove this point, Sri Ramachandra also has done one pastime. Interestingly, I'm remembering it, that in this Kali Yuga, misunderstanding is a very, 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 very dangerous thing. Why? Because once Sri Ramachandra and Mother Sita were sleeping, and Lakshmana was protecting them. Actually, he was pointing the arrow so that no evil spirits, no ghosts, no animals come near them and wake them up. So Lakshmana was pointing with that. Now Guha saw that Lakshmana was trying to kill Ramachandra in the middle of the night as he was pointing towards them. So Guha was the king of the tribal people. So he thought, अरे बाप रे, ये तो कुछ और निकला. एक भाई है जो राज्य से निकाल दिया अपने बड़े भाई को, और ये एक भाई है जो अच्छे बनकर रात में आकर भाई को मारना चाहता है. This will not happen in presence of me. So Guha took his arrow and pointed towards Lakshmana. So because Now they pointed towards Lakshmana. He thought that if Lakshmana shoots an arrow towards Ramachandra, he will shoot an arrow towards Lakshmana. Now Lakshmana was pointing arrow towards Ramachandra to protect them. Now Guha saw this and Guha started pointing the arrow towards Lakshmana. Now the tribal people saw that Guha was pointing an arrow towards Lakshmana and they thought he wants to kill Lakshmana. So they also took their arrows and pointed at Guha. So this was the whole situation there. This was the misunderstanding because they could see only half of the picture. That Guha saw Lakshmana pointing but didn't understand the reason behind it. Now the tribal people saw Guha was pointing towards Lakshmana but could not see the other portion. So they thought that this was whole situation, chaotic situation of misunderstanding. So when Guha understood that Lakshmana was trying to protect them but not to kill them, then he kept his arrow. And seeing Guha kept his arrow, the tribal people saw, oh, it's okay. Now they also kept his arrow. So in this Kali Yuga, misunderstanding is a very dangerous thing which takes place everywhere, every circumstance. So Ramachandra, even by his sleeping, and Lakshmana being the Guru Tattva, teaching us that misunderstanding is a very dangerous and we should be careful. We should not fall under the trap of this misunderstanding. So we came to end of this session. But before wrapping up, I would like to narrate a very beautiful pastime, very, very beautiful pastime of Hanumanji and Krishna. So, after getting to know the greatness of the Supreme Lord, but as you know, we can't describe Narasimhadev without Prahlad Maharaj. We can't describe ISKCON without describing Srila Prabhupada. Similarly, you can't describe Sri Ramachandra without describing Hanumanji. They both are interconnected. So there is a very beautiful pastime in the Mahabharata, stating the devotion and the greatness of Hanumanji. So once Shri Krishna asked Rukmini Devi that, oh Rukmini Devi, today I thought of inviting Hanumanji to Dwarka. You have to dress up like Sita and I'll dress up like Ramachandra. And he told Garud, oh Garud, go and please call Hanuman and tell him that I am waiting for him over here. So Hanumanji was in the King Purusha Varsha, chanting and singing the glories of Sri Ram. He was in his own bhajan kriya and meditating on Sri Ram. So Garudev went and told that, oh Hanuman, our Lord is calling you. Said, whose Lord? Hanumanji asked, whose Lord? Garudev said, our Lord, Krishna. Hanumanji said, you go, I am coming. So Garudev went and half of the day passed away. It's now afternoon. That Krishna said, what did you tell him? Hanumanji didn't go there. Hanumanji didn't reach there, and Krishna said, what did you tell him? Said, I told our Lord is calling you. Said, which Lord? Our Lord Krishna. Said, Are na. You have to use the perfect sales speech. That is, your Lord Sri Ram is waiting for you and calling you. You should say this. So Garudev again went to Kim Purusha Varsha and said, oh Hanumanji, Sri Ram is, your Lord Sri Ramachandra is calling you. Hello sir. Good evening sir. Your Lord Sri Ramachandra is waiting for you and calling you. Hanumanji went. Hanumanji told Garudev that you go, I am coming. Now Garudev, when he flies, the Vedas originate from his flying. He flies so fast, and the wind blows very strongly. This is actually, he reaches in seconds. But even before Garudev would reach Dwarika, Hanumanji was sitting under the lotus feet and staring at Sri Krishna dressed as Sri Ram and Mother Rukmini. So Hanumanji looked at Sri Ram and asked, yes Prabhu. So this then after some time, Hanumanji said, everything is perfect, Prabhu. Your dressing up is absolutely good. But the thing is that anything happens, you still remain Sri Krishna and still Sri Ramachandra is my Lord. He said a very beautiful verse that Srinathe Janaki Nathe Abheda Paramatmane Tathapi Mama Sarvasva Ramo Rajivalochane. He said, "O Lord, hey Srinath, you are not different from Janaki Nath. Srinath is Lakshmi Devi and Janaki is also Lakshmi Devi. So you both are not different. Srinathe Janaki Nathe Abheda Paramatmane. You are both Paramatma and you are Abheda. You don't have any difference in both of you, but still Tathapi Mama Sarvasva. Mama Sarvasva, my whole life and soul is Sri Ramachandra. Even I know that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even the Sri Ram originates from you. But still my life and soul is Sri Ramachandra. Oh Prabhu, even if you dress like Sri Ramachandra, you will not be able to become like Ramachandra, my life and soul." So Shri Krishna said, "Oh Rukmini Devi, our khel has stopped, now you open your dress." So this proves that even philosophically, even if Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it depends upon the devotee that which form he wants to worship of the Lord. If he wants Ramachandra, if he thinks Ramachandra is his life and soul, the Paramatma sits in his heart as Ramachandra. If he worships Shri Vishnu, the four-handed Vishnu, the Lord will sit in his heart as four-handed Vishnu. If he worships Narsimhadev, the Lord will sit in his heart as Narsimhadev. If he worships the Supreme Lord as Krishna, he will sit in his heart as Krishna. This is the greatness of the Supreme Lord and this is the love of his devotees. Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki Jai. At last I want to chant a verse. You can repeat after me. Shri Rama Rama Raghunandana Rama Rama Shri Rama Rama Bharatagraj Rama Rama Shri Rama Rama Ranakarkasha Rama Rama Shri Rama Rama Sharanam Bhava Rama Rama Shri Ramachandra Charanau Manasa Smarami Shri Ramachandra Charanau Vachasa Grinami Shri Ramachandra Charanau Shirasa Namami Shri Ramachandra Charanau Sharanam Prapadhye. Syavar Ramachandra ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Gaur Pramanande. Those who are present here, if you have any questions, you can ask. I'll be waiting for 2 minutes if you have question, otherwise I would end the live. Hare Krishna.